Red edition, welcome and happy day. Hey, in the UK, British people there are fed up with their taxes are so high and so many people don't work. They're professional non-workers. You're into third generation families, entire families. They're on the dole and they have been, and why not? Is easier. As soon as you grow up, you go in and you fill out a form and they start mailing you checks. And now the Prime Minister is saying, people, help me. He says, give us the tools and we'll finish the job. I mean, Winston Churchill said that so many years ago and it seemed to work for him. He has a coalition going on. While he's conservative, the coalition, though, is with the Liberal Democrats. And, of course, that means that he doesn't have any teeth. He can't do much unless they agree. And they never agree. They don't agree with very much. I mean, it just goes on and on all of the time. You got to get it fixed. He needs a mandate. And to get a mandate, people got to step up and say, I vote for you. That would be the right thing to do. And if you go right, there's a chance to fix it. I mean, with them, you have a chance. With the other people, you don't have a chance. He said 5 years, and the people now have a chance instead to fix it. I really hope they do. The Liberal Council denied a permit recently to a conservative rancher for a horse shelter. Of course, all that most liberals know how to say is no and give me money, right? But you don't need a permit to build a table and chairs. You got to be creative if you're right wing. So, you see, we are smarter than them. I hope it works in England. Ontario Premier, there's the dumbest group of people I think that exist. Maybe not. Maybe there's a bunch more of them in places like California and such, I guess. But they are so upside down with the dollars. I mean, they just have no money, and they continue to tax and continue to borrow. And they just spend. Their spending's out of control. Their thinking is non-existent. And now they're giving a $500,000 subsidy to secure a 2016 NBA All-Star game. What are they doing? I mean, well, that's sports. You're not supposed to be in the sport business. Not only that, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the company that owns all of the team, they own the Maple Leafs, the Raptors, the soccer team, the Air Canada Centre. There's a long list here. Their empire is worth almost $3 billion. And you got the left-wing whacks giving them a check for $500,000. And all the little people, they're sitting around saying, what happened? Where's that come from? Oh, comes from me. That'll be you, the taxpayer. Somebody's got to do something with these people. The country needs a revolution, not one with blood and guts and swords and guns. I don't mean that, but somebody's got to do something when you got people like this running a country, running a government, running a province. And nobody voted for them this time around, at least. They have before, though. You got to get what you deserve, right? But at this point in time, there should be an election because a Liberal leader wasn't elected by the people. Premier and West Kelowna in Canada, still MLA, member of Legislative Assembly, Christy Clark, she personally presented a gaming grant check of $72,000 to the Minor Hockey Association. You know, these bloody liberals, I mean, they're buying votes, they're positioning, they get it ready for the next round. They must like sports. There must have been a study somewhere that I'm sure they paid for too that says, sport, if we give money to sports people, we'll get more votes. I don't know, but here you got another one, and she too is a liberal. She calls herself a liberal, like the other one on the other side of the country, right? She's a socialist. Socialism's bad. Politically right is right, and left is wrong. In Canada still, Lloydminster now lately, and that's a border city separating Alberta and Saskatchewan. Recently they had a school locked down because there's a pedophile on the loose, and he had an electronic monitoring bracelet, and he cut it off, threw it up on a rooftop, and then he started wandering around. He has a long history of sex offenses, including taking children from playgrounds. And she goes to playgrounds, picks him up, takes him away, and he's armed, apparently. He's dangerous. And he's had sex abuse cases as long as 2 arms put together that they know about. And typically you don't catch a guy every time he does something bad. Capital punishment, does that come to mind? I mean, and now you have a nation where the people aren't allowed to have guns. When I was a kid in Canada, I remember when there was an escaped convict in Romania. He was on death row and he had killed 7 people. Every man went out and they were armed. My dad, everybody put a gun in the car, as you should. Here, nobody's allowed to have a gun. You got this guy walking around taking children from schoolyards, potentially. I'm getting worked up because it makes me crazy. Let me end today with this. Grandpa. He's an elderly man. He had a massive stroke, and the family, of course, drove him to the emergency room, and after a while, the ER doctor appeared wearing a very long face. I'm afraid Grandpa is brain dead. But his heart's still beating. Oh, dear God, cried the wife. We've never had a liberal in the family before. Y'all come back tomorrow. We're going to have more for you from the right. See ya.